College football's returning production numbers heading into 2026. I have a full sheet right here in front of me with the returning production numbers, and I wanted to jump into it. I wanted to give my full thoughts on this sheet, the numbers on here, because I think this is something to really warrant looking at. Like, if you really want to think about what teams have potential to be good. Now, some of the teams at the top of this list doesn't mean anything. Like for example, when I show this list, Virginia is number 1. Does that mean I think Virginia is going to be one of the best teams in college football? No. I wanted to real quick state what it means to have returning production. Returning production doesn't mean that you're instantly going to be phenomenal. Oh, we got the number 1 returning production by 4,000 snaps over second place, which is Texas Tech. Doesn't mean you're going to be phenomenal. That doesn't mean anything. The only thing it means is that you're bringing back experience. If Virginia went 7-5 and they're bringing back the same guys that went 7-5 with, it doesn't automatically mean they're going to go 10-2. It means they're probably going to go 7-5, maybe 8-4. Maybe they get slightly better. Guys don't get phenomenal in 1 year. You don't go from average to incredible in 1 year. Yeah, maybe you hit a 9-3, maybe you hit a 8-4, but mostly you're going to get slightly better, if not. And again, if you're returning a ton of production, but it's bad production, then that just means that it's going to be more bad. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be really good. So looking at this list, Virginia is number 1. Virginia doesn't mean that they're going to be the best ACC team. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean they're going to be the best college football team. That means they're probably going to be similar to what they were last year. Oklahoma or Texas Tech. Texas Tech was a really good team last year. This means they're probably going to be similar to what they were last year. They're going to be probably 12-1. I'm going to say they're going to win the Big 12 and probably be 12-1. That's my prediction right now. Oklahoma State, returning a lot of production. What does that mean? I don't know. New head coach means they're probably going to be a little bit better, but not a ton better. Means they're probably going to be around 7-5. Probably going to be around 6-6. They're not going to be an automatic playoff team. Ole Miss is on here. Ole Miss is a team, like I said, I'm just going to use some of these teams as examples. Ole Miss was a Final Four team last year. Do I think they're going to be Final Four caliber again? No. Even though they have the number 4 returning production, I don't think that they're going to be the number 4 team in college football. It's not how this works. I think that they're going to be really, really good and potentially similar regular season record to what they had last year, probably around the 10-2, maybe 11-1, but I'd probably say 10-2. That doesn't mean that this sheet of teams doesn't mean that they're going to be instantly phenomenal or instantly bad. So I want to go over some of these teams. Like I said, Texas A&M is at a decent spot. I like what they return. I'm not a huge fan of some of the things they return, but I am a fan of others. Indiana, I'm really a fan of Indiana, seeing them on here because they returning players from a 16-0 national championship team. Vanderbilt, love to see them on here because they had one of the best seasons in program history, Nebraska sneakily is on here. Penn State is on here. I think a lot of that is bringing in Iowa State guys, bringing in a lot of snaps with their former head coach. Texas is on here. Texas is kind of lower, but I like where they're at because they're bringing back a lot on the offensive side of the ball, a lot on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm excited for Texas. Oklahoma is at a decent spot, but some of the teams I was interested in was USC. USC was second to last on this list. The reason they were second to last is because they're losing a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Like, they're losing a lot of depth. We talked about them in the preview, team preview that we did on this show. You can go watch the show, or you can fast forward in the show or rewind in the show, or probably I'll release that as a separate video eventually. But USC is a team that is not returning a lot, but I think it's actually for the better. Now, a lot of depth is gone, and that does concern me, but a lot of the top-end guys that they're leaving, I'm okay with. Like, I'm okay with USC kind of resetting a little bit. Clemson is pretty far down there. Clemson lost a lot. I don't expect Clemson to be a, playoff contender. I expect them to be maybe from that, top 25 range, maybe somewhere in the 20 to 25 area. It's kind of where I expect them. I don't expect them to be the best team in college football, maybe an 8-4 caliber team. And again, Notre Dame and Georgia are pretty far down there. They're on the third column, about towards the top of the third column. US or Notre Dame and Georgia being there are kind of interesting to me because they're two teams that are losing a lot, but again, have a lot of good guys coming in. So you look at them and say, oh, well, they're going to probably most likely have a down year. I don't think so. I actually think they're losing guys, but it's good that they're losing some guys because they're bringing in a lot of really good guys. And the guys that they are keeping are getting even more experience, like CJ Carr, like Gunnar Stockton, like Nate Frazier. Like this team looks real. Those two teams will look really good heading into 2026. So don't let this fool you for them. Florida State is a team that I think is interesting. Florida State is about midway through this ranking. My question with them is, are they returning good production? Not necessarily. They're returning a guy like Deuce Robinson, who is probably a top 5 receiver in college football. I'd put my money on it probably. So things like that are good to return. But then other things. They were, 4-8 last year, I believe? I believe so. I believe like 4-8. Or no, were they 5-7? I think they were 5-7 last year. They were 5-7 last year. Yeah, sorry, 5-7. So do you really want to return a lot from a 5-7 team? I don't think so. So I'm interested with them having a mid to lower returning production. I think that they'll slightly be better, but I don't think they're going to blow you out of the water. I'm not saying 9 wins. I'm not even saying 8 wins, but I'm thinking they can flop from 5-7 to 7-5. So they're an interesting one. Ohio State's a lower one because how much they're losing on their defense. Now they're also bringing in a lot on their defense, but it is tough. Ohio State's a really tough one to kind of navigate because of all the new pieces. But again, Ohio State I think is going to be okay. So that's kind of what I wanted to break down in this returning production. It wasn't a super long segment, but I did want to kind of give my thoughts on that and kind of tell you guys, if you've seen that graphic, I wanted to kind of give you the right idea of what that means and how to handle or how to look at a returning production ranking. So that's college football's returning production for 2026.